This is Auckland's Viaduct, and we're here to celebrate. In just a few days, we'll be back at this stunning event centre on Wynyard Wharf for the Attitude Awards. The 2,000 square metre auditorium is being rigged for this, our 4th award. This year, we've met some truly inspirational people on Attitude.
Some are world champions or international stars, others are heroes in their own community.
Good evening and welcome to the 3rd Annual Attitude Awards.
Our awards give us the chance to reveal the stories behind lives lived with some extraordinary challenges. Simon Dello has hosted our awards 3 years running, and he's signed on for this year's as well.
This year, we're thrilled to be at the brand new Viaduct Event Centre. We're catering for 500 guests at the state-of-the-art venue. What do you think of the view, Dan?
Awesome. But we've got 21 finalists to profile in this program, so back to business. The finalists were nominated by our viewers and chosen by 4 independent judges.
First up, the Youth Award for a young person who's shown initiative in pursuing his or her dreams.
The finalists are Nicholas Brocklebank, Gabrielle Hogg and Cameron Leslie.
Nico Cool by Nicholas Brocklebank. This is my family, Toby, Mummy and Daddy. We play lots of games together. Toby is my favourite brother. I like him. This is my mummy. She is nice. This is my daddy. He likes to play soccer and cricket with me. I have a wheelchair because I have muscular dystrophy. This is my medicine called prednisone. I need to have it every morning. It helps my muscles get strong. It really helps very well. I need glasses for close-up work. I really like them. They are cool. I play soccer every Saturday. I scored 5 goals. I play guitar every Wednesday. My guitar teacher is called Mr. M. This is my friend called Cullum. We have fun. We both like Lego. This book is about me and my life. Even though I've got muscular dystrophy, I can do lots and lots of things.
Only 23 years old, and already Gabrielle Hogg has an audience within government. Yet the doctors told her parents she would never be able to do much.
I'm on an advisory group that advises the government on current policies to do with people with autism, so it's the #1 thing I've got to work at, changing the world to make it a better place.
Gabrielle was diagnosed with dyspraxia and dyslexia at age 10, and with an autism spectrum disorder at age 12.
I guess it's just a different way of being and just got to learn to adapt it. My t-shirt says Autism O Girl, that's the name of my business.
Today she has her own business, helping parents to make sense of the puzzle of their child's ASD.
This is the guide that you're going to need for the rest of Joshua's life. Autism is like a puzzle, and I'm helping kids to understand how their puzzle pieces fit together. That's what parents see in me, is that hope that I give to them. Even though I've been through some incredible stuff during my life, I just put on this positive attitude to get up every single morning and enjoy it.
Cameron Leslie may have been born without limbs, but that didn't stop him winning gold at the Beijing Paralympics.
Throughout my life, I think I've always had to prove myself that I can do exactly what the next person can. I wanted to win in Beijing so badly for other people to accept me as an athlete.
Coming to terms with his body has been a lifelong journey for Cameron.
First stage of acceptance for anyone is kind of accepting who you are and what you look like.
Cameron is now studying journalism and has fronted a disability travel series.
I think today I am comfortable with myself and I'm not worried about what other people have to think. I don't feel like I have to constantly prove myself so much anymore.
He's now using his lifetime experiences in leadership roles and at university, in Paralympic swimming and in mentoring others. Cameron will be taking his hard-won confidence to next year's London Paralympics.
Next, an award that goes to the heart of what Attitude is all about. The Spirit Award, given to an unsung hero who approaches life with positivity and audacity. And the finalists are Patrick Hirawini, Chris Hanley and Mark Grantham.
Yeah, would you like the voice of chocolate?
I have 2, please.
Every time Mark Grantham sells a chocolate bar, he knows a disadvantaged child on the other side of the world is going to benefit.
I've sold more chocolate than anybody in New Zealand to help my kids.
Mark's been selling since he was 12 years old. He's a regular in this Auckland shopping strip. Each year, Mark raises around $3,000 to support the 5 children he sponsors in Tanzania and India. In 2009, Mark went to Tanzania to meet 2 of his children and carry on his mission. Living with cerebral palsy, Mark's an advocate for independent living. But his strongest message is the way he lives his life.
I dream. I'm not in this wheelchair. I have a good heart to life, and I love what I do.
Patrick Herewini's legs don't work very well, but his heart is more than big enough. For 6 years, he volunteered to help other disabled people learn to ride.
I just fell in love with the place.
And despite the cerebral palsy he was born with, he's put in thousands of hours splitting and bagging firewood, mowing lawns on one crutch, and volunteering for others.
I'll probably go without and give it to others, if I can.
2 years ago, he finally achieved his lifelong goal.
It's a real paying job. It's pretty hard for a disabled person to get real paid employment. It's the first time I've ever had a proper paying job. If I can do it, I'll try my darndest to give it a go.
A drink driving accident on his 17th birthday left Aucklander Chris Hanley in a wheelchair.
Just up ahead here is the spot where I had my accident. Always a funny spot to drive past, actually.
A string of family tragedies followed. In a decade, he lost both parents and the brother he lived with. He was alone.
To be honest, I think it's probably made me a little bit harder than I would like. Emotionally, sometimes it's I'm a little bit reserved with my emotions.
Against those incredible odds, Chris has built a full and successful life. Always an inventor, he designed innovations for his own chair, and it led to a job in wheelchair sales. He became the top salesman in the country. He is married to Erin and has 3 sons, but perhaps his greatest contribution has been to the community. As a leader in the Right Track program, steering young offenders back on course.
If I can go along and talk to a few people about my experiences and how, my bad choices affected my life, and if they can get something out of that, then I think that's a really valuable thing to give.
Is it a cow or an oversized sheep?
It's art, Dan.
One of the highlights of the night is the Artistic Achievement Award.
And the finalists are Sarah Holbert, Natalie Tapar and Eddie Lowe.
Music is my life. I was born to music.
Blind from birth, 16-year-old Natalie Tapar has already penned half a dozen of her own songs.
Writing for me it's really fun. I'll just sit on my keyboard and just have a bit of a fiddle, and all of a sudden I'll think, oh, that sounds cool.
Natalie wrote her first song at age 7 and intends to make composition and performing her career.
But I'm only one person, and I can't. Some people have thought of me as, oh, she's blind, she won't be able to do this. Oh, she's blind, she won't get very far. But I just love to be able to prove them wrong a little bit. My being blind does not stop me from following my dreams and going with my passions.
Through her music, Natalie aims to inspire other young people with a disability.
Stay strong and follow your dreams.
Flying high, Sarah Holbolt is in a world of her own. 11 years ago, she joined an Australian circus troupe and found her passion. She spent 7 years learning what she calls her magical art, and now tours festivals around the country. but it's a career choice with challenges.
There is definitely, of course, some judgment and preconception there with what I look like in the acting industry and performance industry. I think I'm beautiful. I think I have a right to be on stage, and I think I add something quite special to any performance.
Sarah is partially sighted, but she makes no concessions. She is passionate about putting disability centre stage.
It's that buzz of being on stage and communicating something creatively, and also just the physicality that you reach on stage as well as a little bit beyond everyday life.
She took her show to Thailand, and while there, branched out into teaching refugee children performance skills. Aside from her aerial work, she is co-writing a film script and has acted in theatre and film. Her dream is to tour her own show internationally.
My dream is to do disability arts stuff, including film, and to be represented on screen.
Look in my mind, and you will see I'm one of a kind. There's only one me.
He's a Kiwi legend. Eddie Lowe started composing as a child, yet his school report was emphatic: no musical ability.
I was writing poems when I was 10. And I just started putting little tunes to these poems, and which was songwriting, but never ever dreamed that it would become a way of living.
50 years on, a swag of gold and platinum albums, and fans around the globe tell a different story.
I'm not here because of me, I'm here because people put me here.
Eddie was born totally blind. His mother had German measles when she was pregnant and died just a few weeks after he was born. Eddie and his brother were adopted by the Lowe family, but he's never forgotten his Māori mother and Scottish father. His latest album is a tribute to his heritage.
It's my homeland, my own land, New Zealand. And I miss her wherever I roam.
Eddie can't read or write music, but plays totally by ear.
I'd like people to remember that I was here and I entertained, and just hope they enjoy the music.
The Courage in Sport Award is for someone who's shown great determination in pursuing their sporting dreams.
And the finalists are Tony Crowther, Trish McQueen and Conrad Ryan. On the Kapiti coast, everyone knows Trish McQueen. She's got that kind of personality.
Trish is pretty famous, actually.
But it was her desire to complete a triathlon that took her to the heart of a community. And that's no small goal for a woman with cerebral palsy and intellectual disability. Trish joined a gym and proved herself as a woman with determination and guts, and the locals got behind her. It wasn't long before Trish had her very own team. Michelle Lawrenson organises it all, and personal trainer Wayne Peters puts in the hard yards, though Trish has fired him more times than he can remember.
She's an awesome person, always friendly, always trying to help everybody. She wants to fire me every week or so.
I can't get rid of him.
And with that support, Trish tackled her triathlon and completed all 3 legs.
She's very organised. She really does mean what she says, and she gets out there and does it.
Tony Crowther revels in simple pleasures, like an afternoon at the beach with her daughter Jasmine. 4 years ago, Tony awoke to the shock of finding herself paralysed down one side. A stroke caused by her contraceptive pill. Jasmine was just 8 months old.
It was so exhausting. I just felt like I could barely do it, but I had to for her, so it made me get out of bed every morning.
Last year, Tony raised $22,000 for the Stroke Foundation, more than any individual had previously raised. She did it by challenging herself to swim 6.5 kilometres from Rangitoto to Auckland.
I still can't even believe I did it. It was just so much hard work and training over the years.
4 years on, she still lives with the effects of that stroke, but is focused on the future.
Just a matter of moving on and getting on with your life. It's happened and you can't change the past, so you've just got to live every day, and that's what I do, live every day and have fun.
The road is Conrad Ryan's highway to success. He set himself the challenge of joining 1,500 competitors racing 160 kilometres around Mount Taranaki. In driving rain, a third of the field gave up. Not Conrad.
He just doesn't care about people's preconceived ideas of him or what he can do and should be able to do. He just thinks I can do it, and he does.
Conrad is one determined young man. He has a heart condition, limited sight, and other physical challenges. But he competes regularly in 8 different Special Olympics sports.
Golf, athletics, soccer, basketball.
Some people may say he's been disadvantaged in his life, given the cards he's been dealt. He doesn't really care about those whatsoever. He's always setting himself goals that we'll think, oh, hey, that's a bit lofty. I wouldn't even consider doing that, but Conrad just jumps on in there and does it.
The haul of medals Conrad's collected is proof of his dedication to sport. As a member of the New Zealand World Blacks, I know that achieving in sport is about so much more than just building physical skill.
The Sport Performer Award celebrates the talent and determination that has taken these finalists to the top of their game.
They are Sophie Pascoe, Jane Parsons and Danny McBride. 11 years ago, forestry worker Danny McBride was crushed by a falling tree. Fiercely independent, he returned to work in the industry and runs his small farm in Tirau.
It takes something like an accident like that to realise how close I was to not being here, and I'm just making the most of every moment.
With typical resolve, he's created a whole new direction in life through sport.
I wanted to go to a World Champs and hopefully the Paralympics. That had been a goal of mine for a long time.
Danny committed himself to a brutal training regime, up to 6 days a week.
You've got to have goals in your life, and I think if you set your standards high, then you've got more chance of achieving them.
He was rewarded with selection for the New Zealand Elite Rowing Champs last year. In this adaptive sport, he went from novice to medalist, winning bronze in the 2010 World Rowing Championships. Danny has self-belief and commitment in spades.
I think I've always been a driven person, and I guess I have to thank my parents for that. It's in the genes. And I think if you set your sights high, then yeah, you can get what you want.
In her sport, Jane Parsons has reached the top of the mountain. She is a current Paralympics world champion and gold medalist in 2 different cycling disciplines. And this year added a clutch of medals to her tally.
The proudest moment for me this year was actually becoming world champ over in Italy.
She was just 21 when she lost her sight through domestic violence. Climbing that particular mountain took real courage, and it still drives her to do more.
What motivates me the most is being able to let people that have been through domestic violence and disabilities to be able to get out there and do something with their lives, turn their lives around.
This year, Jane has collected gold, silver and bronze on the world stage.
I love being fit, I love a challenge, and I just love life.
Paralympic gold medalist and world record holder Sophie Pascoe has dominated Paralympic swimming since she burst onto the international stage at the 2008 Beijing Paralympics.
I'm in the sport because I love it and I have a passion, and I go to the pool every day and I think, this is what I want to do.
This year, Sophie broke the world record for a 100-metre fly and the 200-metre individual medley.
I've had a pretty successful year actually.
Globetrotting and medals are the fruits of her success. She brings together both physical ability and mental toughness.
I don't see myself as missing a leg. I still do exactly the same things as all my friends, and I try everything. If I can't quite do it, I'll make a way that I can do it.
At home or on the road, she sticks to a tough regime she hopes will bring her more gold at next year's London Paralympics.
I've only got one goal in mind at the moment, which is London, and I think that's the motivation that I have.
For people who live with a disability, one of the biggest barriers to finding employment is others' attitudes.
So we're celebrating employers who see an opportunity where others see an obstacle.
And the finalists are Mission Heights Junior College, Wintec and An Extra Pair of Hands.
When Jane Richardson set up a business offering domestic services, she was looking for the best people to do the job. Now, she has 3 deaf workers on her staff of 30.
People often ask me, or they might say to me, isn't it wonderful that you employ people with disabilities? But actually, it's a win-win because they do the same job as a hearing person and they're doing as good a job as a hearing person.
Finding work is one of the biggest obstacles for anyone with a disability.
A lot of hearing people with businesses will say, you know, deaf can't do that. But Jane's not like that. You know, she thinks we can do anything.
I can fit it in with my children, work hours, and then I can go and be available to pick up my children from school.
Jane Richardson was willing to be open-minded, to take a chance on a new employee.
It's amazing what people can achieve if they're just given a few tools and the right support.
Mission Heights Junior College in South Auckland embraces students from many different ethnicities and abilities.
We're a really diverse school. We've got children from all over the world here.
15 students are in the Deaf Education Unit, but some of the hearing students and the staff have opted to take sign language as a subject. There are 4 employees with hearing impairments on staff.
It just was a really natural progression to say, let's have some deaf workers in the school who can actually fulfil those same role modelling.
I love the environment. Communication is easy here with all the staff and the teachers. In other jobs that I've had in the past, there hasn't been very much conversation or, you know, levels of communication for me.
We don't have things that perhaps stereotypes that make us reluctant to look at some people as people who could contribute positively to our work environments. It's not just about us giving them work, it's about the contribution that they've made to our school is huge.
Training and education provider Wintec is one of Hamilton's largest employers. Their route to hiring workers with a disability was an unusual one. It started with toilets.
We were sitting in a room doing legal compliance and counting disability toilets. And someone had the question, well, we have all these disability toilets, but where are all the disabled people?
Good question. They set themselves a challenge to actively recruit from the disability sector.
Wintec is a great place to work. They are open to my disability and the things that may be hard for me, so that they know that maybe I need a little bit of help.
After a bachelor's degree, Tegan Morris found her niche at Wintec.
I was given the opportunity to have dignity and responsibility.
These people are normally the highest performers in the organisation. Their positive attitude and they're eager to hold down a normal job supersede normally any other attitude in the organisation. I would say to any employer out there, give it a go, because it's definitely worth it. And it could even be the cornerstone to your culture.
Every community needs those exceptional people who open the doors for others to walk through.
That's what the Making a Difference Award is all about. Here are their stories. Pam McNeil, Mike Gawley and Roy Bartlett. Mike Gawley has never forgotten the struggle it was to get his first job.
Employment was an issue I faced for a long time after I left school. And I just knew what it was like to go to an interview and you'd see the look in people's eyes thinking, oh my gosh, this is no good, this guy's not going to be able to do anything.
Kia ora and welcome to this edition of 1 in 5. I'm Mike Gawley and I'm about to catch up with a guy who's taking on some of the myths and stereotypes associated with mental illness.
Here's the reporter and producer of Radio New Zealand's program 1 in 5.
Some people might think I err on the side of caution and compromise, but the reality is that we have to compromise every day in our lives. You just have to work out what are the compromises you can't live with.
He was born with a condition that affected his limbs, and the attitudes he came up against shaped his life.
When he comes at stuff, he comes at it not in a simple, sort of once over lightly kind of way, but he approaches it in a way that is beautiful storytelling as well as fiercely and fantastically intelligent.
Mike is one of the founders of the Disabled Persons Assembly, a trailblazer in the disability community with many accolades to show for it.
Mike's a true leader. He drives you with his enthusiasm and his passion and his absolutely set-in-stone principles.
Supported by his wife Helen, he remains a true leader for the community. Roy Bartlett loves seeing kids happy, especially his Star Jam buddy Jaden.
Hi, my name is Jaden and I'm a lion.
Star Jam is a performance group for kids with disabilities.
Have you seen Roy? Pardon, I can't hear you. Let's go find him.
Building friendships and confidence. It's obviously worked for Jaden.
Not here.
Since they started in 2002, more than 560 kids have moved across the stage.
Not here.
thanks in part to Roy. Roy's had MS since 1988. He's the quiet guy behind the scenes who makes it all happen.
I'm gonna find him with magic. Abracadabra! What is Star Jam?
Star Jam is a super charity where everyone who gets involved benefits, especially young people with disabilities like you.
What is your dream for kids like me?
For you to live your life to the max and go beyond fulfilling your own dreams.
That's a very good answer. Can I give you a hug?
You sure can, buddy.
Last year, Star Jam moved to Hamilton and Wellington. The next step in the dream of going global for Roy and wife Julie. As a child, Pam McNeil wasn't expected to achieve anything. It was just the way things were for a blind child.
I can remember one aunt saying to my mother that I was probably uneducable and it would be a waste of time sending me to school. And I'm not alone in that. Lots of people of my generation have had those sorts of experiences.
As an adult student, she gained a master's in social work. As head of the Mainstream Supported Employment Program, she's justly proud of placing hundreds of people into real jobs.
I was absolutely determined to raise the profile of the program, raise the profile of the abilities of disabled people, and ensure that we got as many people employed in the public sector as possible.
Pam is a founder member of the Disabled Persons Assembly, the Guide Dog Society, and a leader in the Association of Blind Citizens. She now has her own business, consulting and mentoring in disability issues.
What I've learnt is to be bold and to be audacious, to have big, hairy, audacious goals and go for them.
21 finalists, 7 awards on the night, and an overall winner who takes the Supreme Award.
For those that can't be there on the night, you can catch the Attitude Awards on TVNZ7 on December 3rd.
And also on our program 2 weeks from today. See you then.